On this Wednesday, the holidays are exciting for most of us, but for people dealing with cognitive decline, like dementia, it can easily turn into a very challenging experience.
Jeremy is here from the Utah chapter of the Alzheimer's Association to tell us how we can prepare our spaces in this sponsored interview. Welcome, Jeremy. Happy to have you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, where do we begin? How, as a family, do we start this conversation?
I think you just hit it. You have to start with a conversation. You know, many families don't see mom or grandma, or a family relative with dementia. And dementia is changing all the time. It's a new reality for someone. And so you need to start having that discussion. Look, this year, this is the experience with grandma or grandpa. And this is what we can do as a family. Do an email blast out to the family to open that discussion. Get them on a thread, start talking about it.
You say a tip is avoid over-decorating, and I thought that was interesting. Why?
Well, I think it's just overdoing the holidays. One thing, over-decorating is a sensory thing, but I think it is really hard during the holidays because everybody puts so much effort into the decorating, the cards, the food, the adventure. Every moment has to be packed with something, and that's not reality, especially for someone that is aging or living with dementia. So maybe scale back the holidays a little bit.
So traditions and gatherings might look a little different. What activities
are
appropriate?
And they're important, right? I mean, they're still very important. What activities? And it's a case-by-case basis, but if you know that your parent loves to bake, maybe do it in smaller groupings. Do some baking with them, or do smaller events with them. It's really discuss with them what they want. And I realize that some people with dementia have progressed where you can't. But, kind of scale it back and don't feel guilty. Caregivers give over $2 billion a year in unpaid care in the state of Utah every year for someone living with dementia, or for those living with dementia.
No, it's a labor of love.
It is.
And they do it day after day, not just during the holidays.
And during the holidays, they can feel isolated because, what about somebody's behavior? What about this family member's behavior? So that's why we say scale it back, talk to the family about it.
You also say create this safe and calm space if you can.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Just by some of the things that we've talked about, talk to them, give them a gift of music. That's one thing that people, the sensory-wise, it's the last thing to leave us, is our hearing and being in tune. And we have seen that people just come alive with music.
It's about memories.
It's about memories.
Music evokes those memories. Also,
and you can still create memories with your family and with the individual living with dementia.
I like that one of the tips, and I've noticed this with my mom, is that one-on-one is so much nicer for her than these big group settings.
Yeah, it is, because it's a lot easier to have that one-on-one connection. And so that's really important. And at the end of the day, when you're looking at gifts and things, well, we gave grandma a microwave, or we gave someone, I had someone recently say, don't give them an appliance, give them things that in their reality that would give them comfort, a weighted blanket.
Give them an experience, give them that comfort. I also like that you say take safety into account. Watch for where things are plugged in, watch wires, watch where candles are placed.
Yep. Yeah. You can still have a meaningful holiday. You can still give them good gifts, but be aware of what their realities are.
I like that you spoke to the caregivers too, because there are how many in Utah?
Well over 140,000.
Yeah.
And the caregivers, that's the hardest thing.
It can be lonely.
Because it's lonely, and they're the sandwich generations many times. Because you've got kids at home, you're trying to
make everybody happy.
Make everybody happy.
Yes.
And people get so wrapped up in, oh, I want to make this meaningful, and that's wonderful. And you can still have really good memories, but scale it back. look at gifts that are appropriate for someone.
Yes, and give yourself the permission to do just that. We've loved this conversation today. Still so much more to discuss. You can learn more and find those resources right there on your screen.
And our thanks to the Alzheimer's Association for sponsoring this interview. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back after this.